Welcome friends, it's Wednesday's Why. So I want to talk about fasting today. So I am the first one to admit that it has taken me a long time to start fasting. And the reason being is that I have low blood sugar and have had since a kid. And so I remember I went on a trip to the Netherlands with my family, and the people that we were traveling with didn't stop for lunch. And I just remember seeing these windmills going around and around, and I was finally still asleep. Because I just didn't have enough protein in my body in order to make it. So because of that, I've always tried to make sure that I eat a proper balanced diet and stay awake and all that kind of stuff. But I've listened to lots of different health professionals that kind of say it's very important. And the reason being is that there is a process that happens in your body called autophagy. Sometimes I may pronounce it a little bit different. But it is the death and the flushing out of old cells. And if they stock up in the body, they can create disease. And so by doing fasting and flushing that out, it helps the body kind of reset itself. So I understood why it was so important to start doing that and try to work that into my ability to do. And what I think is very interesting is in studying a lot of religions, I've found that every single religion usually recommends fasting. And it's a way to reset the brain, kind of clear everything out, get your head back on your track and your digestive system. And so that's why everybody recommends it. So there's several different ways that you can do fasting. The first one is called intermittent fasting, and I'm sure you've heard of that. But what you're doing is you're just delaying breakfast as much as you can until you get hungry, and then you have lunch. And that's kind of doing that every so often helps with that. Another way is doing a 24-hour fast or longer than that. And I found it easier to quit after dinner the night before and then try to go to dinner the next day. And that way, kind of have the sleep in there, which is kind of the harder part. So when I first started it, what I found is that the first time was quite rough, okay? And a lot of times, obviously I did it after Christmas, so you've been eating a lot of weird stuff anyway. But I was loopy, I had a little bit of a headache. But I felt great the next day. And so I knew it was doing something to help. And so I knew it was worth it. So the next time I tried it, it was a lot easier. I got a little bit tired in the afternoon, but overall I didn't have any kind of weird felt bad or had headaches and things like that. The third time I tried it, I felt great. I almost actually forgot that I needed to stop and have dinner. So it is amazing how it really does, after you've developed getting rid of those different toxins in your body, then it's like you don't have them kind of come up as much. So that is helpful. So I'm Jody Colgrove, and I help people discover that root cause of your health issue so you can finally get some answers, have some clarity on what to do, have energy to be able to do it so you can live in peace, knowing you're heading in the right direction, getting back the health you want that you so richly deserve. So that's where what I do can come in handy, because I can help you clear the sludge, because that's what your body's doing, is that when you get loopy and have a headache, you're being overwhelmed by those toxins and they're trying to get out of the system. So we can help you clear sludge. So I find that that's the hardest part, is between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. And so you get tired, you're loopy. So what could you do to help, maybe some brain fog? What you can do is you can take a break, take a little bit of nap, read a book, treat yourself to saying, hey, your body is trying to go through something and let go of these toxins. So treat it to some downtime. The second is that you can also drink some bone broth. It's best if you make it yourself, because then you have the nutrients in there. But what you can do is you can kind of eat that. It's a good source of protein to kind of help your body, if you're having low blood sugar, to kind of not get into that slump, and you're still kind of in this fasting, because it's going to be a lot of times people say it's a water fast or a not fast. And so bone broth can kind of help with that. Also some tea, having a tea that is appropriate for you and doesn't have any mold in it. Sometimes tea does. But have some tea, and that kind of helps with those hunger pains and things like that. And the third one is to help with the sludge die-off is doing a treatment with the healing modality that I do. Also, you can drink a SIA, which is redox signaling molecules, because that helps flushes out the cells and gets out that sludge to help you not have the loopiness, the brain fog, and things like that. So it's good to start with the intermittent fasting, because that's a way to just delay breakfast. It helps you kind of get used to that feeling and helps kind of clear things out. And then when you're ready, start the 24-hour fast. And like I said, I found that the easiest for me is to eat dinner and then fast from the end of that dinner to dinner the next day. One thing that really helped me understand why I wanted to start this is there's a doctor called Dr. Furman, and he talks about the fact that when we eat nutrients-dense foods, that will sustain us through the time that we're not eating. So if we're eating those good foods, then we don't get hungry as much. And it's like, for the first time, I really understood maybe why sometimes we get low blood sugar, or we feel like we have to eat at every meal, is because we're not eating very good food. But when we have nutrient-dense foods, then we can kind of bridge those gaps a little bit easier. So it helped me understand that whole process a lot more and understand my body. So I look forward to you joining my Facebook group, which is Holistic Health for Christians. We do tapping, toxins, and trauma, and talk about how you can get your health back on track. So I hope you join us and learn more about these great tips. All right, blessings. Have a great rest of the week.